Hello, doing a quick 2-year OP anniversary video review. So it has been 2 years since I first got my OP results back, so let me review the current state of things and such. I actually wrote some stuff down. Starting with my FE. I have gone full circle with my TI to rediscover my FE and to make it work better for me. What does that mean? Well, I'm stopping the whoever cares the most wins problem, which is related to firefighting, squeaky wheel gets the grease syndrome, where you're just neglecting things until they hit a point that's so far out that now you got to run around and solve all these fires, well, prevent them from catching fire in the first place. Focusing on the objective feelings as a goal, an arbiter of what matters. For example, chores, lunch, people's behavior. Who cares? How much do they care? How long have they cared? Actually tracking people's objective feelings over time. If somebody cares about something, maybe it's important. If nobody cares about something, maybe it's still important. Maybe we should care. But, if everybody's happy about the state of the kitchen, it's good enough. If everybody's happy about the state of the Legos being all over the living room, it's good enough. Instead of asking the question, well, is it good? Is it clean? Is it, accurate? Is it working for everybody? Well, technically it's not. But if you ask, well, is everybody happy about it? Yeah, everybody's happy about it. Then we can move on with our lives. And if one person cares, but they can't get anybody else to care, then they have two options. They can either do it themselves or deal with it. And I'm happy to help them deal with it emotionally. But, if nobody cares with them, well, maybe your standards are too high and you need to get over it. Another new thing that I've learned in the past couple of years, not complaining is not the same as being happy. Some people lie about being fine about stuff until it boils over. So I'm building the habit of regularly pulling information, asking for difficult feedback from important tribe members regularly. Like my boss, are you happy with my performance? Are you happy with how things are going? And just pulling the truth out of them, the difficult things that they don't want to answer. Because if they're unhappy about something, well, clearly either I've not communicated properly or, nip it in the bud as quickly as possible. Don't let things fester. And then building my tribe. For a long time, I didn't really think of my own tribe. I just everybody was my tribe. And that's not really what tribe means. Building up deep connections, tight interwoven connections with a specific group of people and different groups of people, actually spending time and energy to build up my own WhatsApp friend group. I've got some people who are into objective personality and who are Jehovah's Witnesses. I genuinely care about their lives. Because most of the people at work, it's I want to hang out with them, I want to work with them and collaborate with them, but I genuinely don't have any interest what they do in their free time. That's not really a deep connection with people. Anyway, so blind spots, some important FE blind spot. One assumption that I've made all my life is that obviously everyone can read the room and know what is appropriate behavior in all circumstances. Of course, everyone can do this, right? No. Nobody can do that. So, my default assumption was that, okay, somebody's behaving inappropriately, but they must know that that's inappropriate. Therefore, they're being inappropriate on purpose for a reason. And their reason is stupid or evil. Therefore, I must banish them in order to protect the tribe. In reality, maybe their reasons are valid. Maybe they have good intentions and are trying to help out. Maybe they're just completely oblivious to the entire concept of appropriateness and don't realize that they're completely ruining the vibe or just completely don't understand what this particular WhatsApp group is not the same as this other WhatsApp group. Or you can do this over here, but you can't do that over here because, well, That's an FE thing, apparently. Anyway, also, desperately protecting the tribe will destroy it. People aren't infants. I don't need to baby them. They can handle a little bit of interpersonal conflict without my help. Who am I to help them? Anyway, multiple identity worlds collide problem. FE people, especially FE Blast, say things with a specific audience in mind. So the thought of taking those words and having some other audience hear them, it's like, well, that wasn't intended for that audience. So now I have to rethink that completely, watch that piece of content, read the whole thing with the other audience in mind, thinking through how they'd react to it, how it fits for them. So like, it results in this compartmentalization of audience, of like, okay, I'm talking to these people over here like this, I can be this person in this place, and that's appropriate. There's, the whole appropriateness thing. I could talk about that for a while. Anyway, enough about FE. So let's move on to my FI, which I don't even have. My shadow virtual FI or whatever. So this was a really hard one to figure out, but here's some basic things that I jotted down. So anything that I like, maybe it's actually important. What I like might be important. And maybe anything that's important must be liked. So, therefore, it's important to invest time and energy to make necessary things likable. For example, food. Sure, I could just precisely calculate the necessary nutrients in order to sustain my meat robot body, but sure, that works for me, but if I don't like it, it's not really going to work for me in the long term. And then work. If I don't like my job, if I don't like the people that I'm working with, if I don't like the thing that I'm working on, I'm not going to have any motivation to actually do the thing or get the stuff done. Therefore, I need to invest some time and energy bringing my true self to work. I'm allowed to be myself. I'm allowed to have a personality. I'm allowed to be a little goofy now and again, when it's appropriate. And I need to give people the opportunity to hate me. Not everybody's going to like me, and that's okay. I don't want to really annoy the people that hate me, or do I? But if I don't bring enough of me to be hated, then I'm not bringing enough of me to like what I'm doing, and I will therefore hate everything and won't have the motivation to get anything done. And vice versa, if I do be me at work, then I can do work as me more better. Anyway, enough FI. Ugh. TI. One major thing that I learned, double observing is not the same as TI. I thought when I was first typing, well, maybe I'm a special snowflake, super awesome, double extra plus FE person that's just happens to be super awesome at TI. Also, why not? Why can't I just be great at both? The math says that maybe I'm not, but it still felt like I was awesome at TI. But what I was seeing as TI was actually double observing, especially NI. It's like being able to dig down to the truth and see the truth and double observe the truth is not the same as building personal logic and skills for myself and figuring out my own unique way to do things. That's not the same. That's a different thing. So anyway, so now I know. Dig down, build up. It's that deal. It's like that. I can't do that with my other hand. See, this is bringing myself to work. Check me out. I can do it. Rub my belly and pat my head too, and revert. Anyway, show off time. Also, building personal logic and skills for myself, figuring out my own unique way to do things. So, when things are high value, sure, I can TI the heck out of them. When they're interesting, new, or exciting, TI, ready to go. When I'm working on results for others in the moment that require figuring out the logic, it's like, sure, I can do that. In a flow state, heck yeah. But when it's not interesting, that's where TI is like, nah, finances, for example, building up my system for doing finances for me in a way that works for me, that was hard, but I did it. But I don't want to do that across the board. But now I see that that's a blind spot. And so, awareness is half the battle, whatever. Also, TI, not easy to use my TI when it's not going to be praised in the moment. So for example, when I'm wasting time mastering something 50 levels deep before I can get started, well, that's wasting time in some perspectives. I'll talk more about TE in a minute. But so it's hard for me to spend the time and the energy investing in something that's only going to make everybody hate me in my imagination. Also, anything that requires interpersonal conflict is very difficult. At work, doing tech investments where I have to explain my reasoning to other people, more about that later. That's hard. But now I'm aware of it. Also, anything that is related to the truth but must not be kept a secret. If I can keep it a secret, sure, I can work on my own reasons. It's easy to build up reasons for myself, my own way of doing things, but when it requires sharing it with other people, it gets really awkward. It gets really hard and uncomfortable, and I just unconsciously avoid it or find other ways around or whatever. For example, religious truth, following Jesus' command to preach. It's easy to just go through the motions and just do what other people do, but I've been trying to build up my own unique way of doing things that's still effective, but brings me into it. Actually investing time and energy to really master that as a skill. That's really hard, but I can do it, and now I'm aware of it. Also, it's hard to bring my TI out when it's going to be slow, when something is slow, because I want to just get stuff done. Also, when I have setbacks, for example, I lost weight, regained it, I want to lose it again, and thinking of investing time and energy building my own systems for this is just it's a low priority. Okay, now on to TE. The just freaking get it done right now without deeply mastering it first deal does not come naturally. When it comes to getting stuff done, I want to completely master the entire problem space, figure out the correct way to do it, build all the skills for how I could do it, but then never do it. I want the ability to do everything without actually having to do anything. Well, that's not the TE way. TE way is do everything without having to master the skills. We'll master the skills by just doing it. That is harder for me when it comes to T-specific skills, anyway. I was lying to myself. The lie is that I need to fully understand it before I can do it. That's stopping me. But now, nothing can stop me. But what it does, it triggers avoidance. Because I feel incompetent, I'm not interested. And their way is stupid, my way is better. So I need to go off and figure out my own way, or whatever. Master it in my own way and then never actually get around to it. TE, also, difficulty. Brainstorming with people or thinking out loud. The lie that I was telling myself is that I'm smarter than everybody and I need to do it by myself. But the reality was that I'm afraid of judgment. I'm afraid that they're going to realize that I'm an idiot. Therefore, I cannot demonstrate my thinking ability near other people or I will be proven a moron. In reality, when I actually try this, the double observing kicks in and I can help by asking good, stupid questions that other people can respond to, and all is well. TE, making sense to everyone. Explaining things to other people is difficult for me because my insanity wants to lie to me that, they're all a bunch of idiots, they're not going to understand. That's why I don't need to even try explaining. Well, that's an excuse. That is a lie. It's not true. Maybe I just need to do a better job, work harder at explaining it. Build up that skill for me. There you go. And then work harder at figuring out their logical perspective and what would make sense to them in blah, blah, blah. But I can kind of fake that by using FE. Like, okay, this person at work cares a lot about all this stuff. That's what matters to them. Therefore, if I use those terms and I couch it in that concept, if it makes sense and fits into that framework, then he's not going to disagree with it as much. It'll make more sense to him. It's like fake TE, but it's not. Yeah, it kind of works. But at least I understand it now. I'm not afraid to do it as much. And then chipping away at making sense to other people. I've been doing tech talks at work, explaining something technical. And PDR, I forget what that even stands for. Yeah, pre-development review, where you say, before I even start on this thing, let me explain all the reasons, all the things we're going to do. It's like, can we just do it? Can I just go off by myself and do it in secret and then come out as a master and everybody praise me? Can't we just do it that way? No. No. All of this is related to building habits. I have to build a lot of habits, trying to build daily routines. But a thing that I've realized about myself is like I can't even control me because I will rebel against my own rules. So what I have to do is focus on my priorities and trust myself to actually follow through and do it and figure it out later. All I want to do right now is I know I'll figure out exactly what to do, and then I don't have to do it. Ever. Like, that's a problem for future me. I'm like, well, present me, like, past me is an idiot. I'll figure it out myself. I know a better way than past me, that guy. Am I right? But now it's like, past me, like, he dumped all this crap on me. I gotta figure this out by myself. Like, I guess. Like, thanks, past me. I got this. And then present me is like YouTube instead, though. Like, oh, wait, stuff to do. Anyway, so one great achievement that or thingamajig that I've made for myself is reaction checklists. So I objectively recognize a feeling, and then I have a go-to, I recognize this is what anxiety feels like. And I have a checklist for that where I go through, check the checklist in hierarchical, check the basics, like, well, did I eat any food? Did I sleep? How is this doing? Just like do the checklist, go around, check all the basics. Once everything is checked, then you should know exactly what the problem is, and there are solutions in there and links to further stuff to help me get unstuck. So no more being stuck and avoidant and going and doing other things instead. Now I have a thing to do. I've also figured out a way to do sleep energy. So there's this new video game that came out, Animal Crossing. It's very relaxing. Been playing that with my wife. And, it has taught me a lot of interesting lessons. I'll have to do that in a separate video. But the relevance, value, and importance of habits and chores is good and stuff. Anyway, 2 years. Yay. See ya.